Nintendo closed out Summer Game Fest with a Nintendo Direct on June 9th at 9 a.m. Central. The middle of a Tuesday, a work day for most anybody, and with less than 24 hours notice. Outside of the fact that Nintendo runs on their own time and always will, we have some great games to talk about. Let's get right to it. Howdy hello and welcome to AlphaPhenomenon Gaming Podcast. I'm your host, Phat Love, and I'll be taking you on a journey through gaming with reviews, news, and commentary. I went into this Nintendo Direct wanting only one thing: a new trailer and release date, please, for Fire Emblem Fortune's Weave. I said in my previous Xbox podcast that Nintendo had my blind loyalty because they exclusively had the Pokemon games, but they also exclusively have the Fire Emblem franchise, and I've played every game since the Game Boy Advance, barring a very few exceptions. My favorite Fire Emblem of all time is Awakening on 3DS, with Three Houses being a strong second place. I love the turn-based strategy, relationships, classes, and class systems, and the story is always top-notch. I don't have to be a glutton for punishment like the XCOM series demands when I play a Fire Emblem game, but I can feel good about my turn-based victories on the battlefield as each of my warriors grows stronger. Fire Emblem Fortune's Weave was announced to be releasing, finally, as a console exclusive on September 17th, which is both fantastic that we have a release date, but tragic because this massive 100-plus hour RPG is releasing 2 days after Marvel's Wolverine, the PlayStation console exclusive. I literally celebrated when the release date appeared on screen. Then, after realization set in, I was Michael Scott screaming, "No! No! Please, God, no! No!" Don't get me wrong, I'm happy I'll finally be enjoying a new entry into the series before the end of the year, but I just wish they could have made this an August release so I'm not pushed into the fear of missing out filled manic month that will be remembered as September 2026 for all gamers. The story is very Fire Emblem coded, and choosing your protagonist is a smart choice for replayability and something I really enjoyed from Three Houses. We are in a modern era of Fire Emblem now, and I am glad the best parts of previous games are looking into the present of what Fortune's Weave is creating. Doing activities between main story beats, playing a minigame, buying materials, or seeking out allies to work on your relationship are all very welcome features that I want in the franchise moving forward. I liked how simple the old 3DS relationship building was, but I won't lie, it was fun to run around in Three Houses and have deeper conversations or invite someone to a tea party to better feel like you earned those higher tier relationships. When I got bonus damage in a battle because I'm next to a higher relationship ally, it always felt better knowing I earned that by putting in the work between battles. I'm easily the most excited for Fire Emblem Fortune's Weave, but there were a few other games that got my attention. Splatoon Raiders, the closest release date title for Nintendo, coming out very soon on July 23rd, was shown here as well, and I enjoyed seeing additional gameplay in a new trailer in the announcement of a June 30th Splatoon Raiders Direct. As the announcement was happening during my work hours, when I got home from work, I hopped onto the Nintendo YouTube channel and watched the Nintendo Treehouse Live for Splatoon Raiders. First things first, I gotta give a shout out to Jose Otero, the OG Nintendo voice chat host for IGN, who works now at Nintendo and did a lot of the talking showing off the gameplay for Splatoon Raiders. Nintendo voice chat for me will always be Jose, Pear, and Brian. Nothing but love for them. I just wanted to give a quick shout out saying that it was really nice to see Jose presenting for Treehouse Live, and it put a smile on my face. Back on topic though, I did purchase Splatoon and Splatoon 2 back in the day on my Switch, but didn't pick up Splatoon 3 because I couldn't really get into it. But if I'm being honest, I really enjoy what Splatoon Raiders is showing, being a single player game with RPG elements, how you can kind of level things up. That Treehouse Live really did do a great job at selling me on a day one purchase, especially knowing Nintendo is going to stick to their guns on price point, and you really won't see that price go down or waver anytime after release. Once I finish playing Doom the Dark Ages DLC, I can see myself picking this one up to have a little fun before the big fall games come out. It was exciting to see the announcement that we are getting more content for Pokemon Pokopia. I saw this coming from a mile away because it had so much potential, but it just makes sense that we're getting more for this game, and I have a reason to revisit my Pokemon friends and take the adventure underwater. Bubbly Basin is going to be so much fun to discover, and I can't wait to see how much it adds to an already massive game that we got at launch. Now, admittedly, I never got into the Xenoblade games because they were massive RPGs, and when they first released, I didn't really want to invest in a large open-world RPG, but now that we're getting Switch 2 versions of all three games, plus the announcement of Genesis, I'm actually kind of interested in looking further into this. If you played them, please leave me a comment telling me if I should start them or not. I'd love to look into the story and discover what I missed. I just know it's going to be a hundreds of hours investment with how large these games are, so I really would love some help in the comments below telling me what I should do. Next, we had an update on the Duskbloods. Well, sort of. We got notified of an upcoming closed network test this summer for the game, which really wasn't much of an update. My excitement for this game has honestly been all over the spectrum, but as of watching this direct, I'm going to have to be honest with you guys, I don't know that I'm all that excited for the Duskbloods anymore. If it's going to be PvPvE, exclusive to the Nintendo Switch 2 console, and likely releasing next year at the earliest, I guess I'll have to temper my expectations and wait to see what they announce, because if I'm going to be a part of this closed network test, I'd like to be notified ahead of time so that the time zone differences can tell me whether or not that's going to be a reality. I guess we're going to have to wait and see what Nintendo and FromSoft want to do here. But until that point, it was exciting to see that this game is still in development and well enough along that we are getting a closed network test to test some of the online features, I'm assuming. Beyond that, we did get an announcement for Kingdom Hearts 4 coming to Nintendo Switch day of release on other consoles, which is really exciting. I have played all of the main Kingdom Hearts titles, and I am very excited to know that if they're announcing this now, it means we are likely far enough in production that we could get a new story trailer or even a release date as early as Gamescom in August. Now, Nintendo got the reveal that it's coming day of on all platforms, including our Nintendo Switch 2. However, we don't know exactly when the release date is, so it could be exciting if PlayStation or Xbox get the case of a next trailer and they get to show off an actual reveal date. How cool would that be as an announcement and fan of the Kingdom Hearts franchise? Now, I don't have immediate interest in RuneScape Dragon Wilds, but I was curious enough that I wanted to include it on my list because I haven't kept up with the RuneScape games since I was a child, and this one, being a single-player or co-op experience, has me more interested than the other titles in the franchise. I previously talked about this during my Summer Game Fest podcast, and seeing it again during this direct further made me curious. I know it came out in early access a year ago, so I'll have to watch a few YouTube videos on the game to really fully carve out my opinion on if I want to invest in this experience, but I am hyped for it, so I'm tempering my expectations until I know more, especially since September is far too full to buy this as a day one purchase anyway. Dragon Quest Monsters: The Withered World intrigued me instantly. I thought the trailer was very cool and I'd love to learn more about it, but I'm not entirely sold out of the gate. All I'm honestly missing is a gameplay or features trailer and possibly a demo to play, and I'll buy in, or at least add it to my wish list for an eventual pickup. The trailer wasn't long, and I don't really have a lot to go off of, as this is the first time I was seeing the game shown off, but I am interested enough to keep my eyes peeled for any further announcements. I want to end with the final announcement of the Direct. The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time, coming exclusively to the Nintendo Switch 2. This is highly regarded as one of the best games in the series, and as someone who's only played a handful of titles in the series, my favorite Zelda game personally is A Link Between Worlds. I want to remind you that I was playing a lot of games in the 3DS era of Nintendo, and not too much before that. As for the announcement of Ocarina of Time, I'm excited to see what this game has to offer and how the updated visuals and refreshed story play out. And depending on what they show next, this could easily be a day one buy for me if it's not released in September like everything else. All joking aside, this will probably drop in November because Nintendo has nothing to fear when it comes to the type of players wanting Zelda versus Grand Theft Auto 6. Also, if anyone could compete and still make huge sales, it would be Nintendo releasing a highly acclaimed game like this. GTA 6, a game for mom or dad, and The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time, a game for the kids. I can see that being exactly how this goes. And there we have it. All three big platform summer showcases, plus Summer Game Fest, covered on the podcast. Let's do a quick recap. Counting only games I found interesting, PlayStation had 5 games, Summer Game Fest had 11, Xbox coming in with 10, and Nintendo closing us out with 7 games. There is overlap on this list with titles like RuneScape Dragon Wilds being on 2 of them, but overall, this is already more games than I can fit in a monthly budget, especially with a lot of these games coming out in September and spilling into 2027 before I can finally play them. As a gamer, I can confidently say that we are eating great this fall. While everyone else is enjoying GTA 6, I'll be playing Wolverine, Fire Emblem, Dawn of the Bloodwalker, Neo 3 DLC if it gets announced, and several backlog titles if I have time for that. I'm supposed to have a life outside gaming, but I guess that's why I go to my 9 to 5 and accrue PTO hours between 8-hour bouts of working. Thank you again for listening to the podcast. Leave a comment on YouTube or Spotify, and let's chat about games. Until next time, this is your guy, Phat Love. Peace. That's all I've got to say. If you played it, let me know what you thought. Hit me up on YouTube or leave a comment on Spotify. Thanks for listening. I'm Phat Love, and this has been AlphaPhenomenon Gaming Podcast. Peace.